The topic of the seminar is programming strategies which are top-down and bottom-up approach. So top-down approach is the first one. So in this model, so the entire system or the programming question is taken into consideration. So without going into specific details of the parts of the program, we are formulating an outline, kind of like an algorithm. So after formulating an outline, so specific sections of the program are broke down from a complex one to simpler programs. So the simpler programs are coded one by one, and then the entire code is combined to create the code for the complex question. So this is the top-down approach. The steps in this top-down approach are we break down the program, the complex program, into two parts. Different many parts. So the different parts are solved one by one. So on breaking down the bigger program into smaller ones, we'll be able to do the smaller programs or the broken down programs in a simple way. So it will be efficient. So the advantages of top-down approach or the top-down model is breaking the problems into parts will help us identify what needs to be done. So we miss out on specific details of the programs when we are trying to do a bigger program. So on breaking down, it will be easy, and each step of refinement will become less complex, and therefore it will be easier to solve. The parts of the solution may turn out to be reusable. So on breaking down the programs, the specific code for the broken down programs can be used for different questions or in different situations. So it's an and also breaking down the program into more than different components, so we can allow different people to solve different components instead of one person trying to solve the entire complex program. So it will be easier if different people are working on a program instead of a single person handling all the difficulties. The bottom down approach. So in this design, individual parts of the system are specified in the details. So smaller programs, smaller components are built up to a bigger system. So that's bottom down approach. So object-oriented programming languages such as C++ and Java use this approach, where the object is identified first and then to the bigger system. So the advantage of bottom-up approaches, it makes decision about reusable low-level utilities, then decide how they will be put together to create high-level construct. So it is used to create a construct between top-down design and bottom-up design. So for differentiating the different types of approaching and handling the programs, the top-down approach, as we discussed, we focus on breaking up the program into smaller parts, whereas bottom-up approach, we solve smaller programs and integrate it as a whole and complete the solution. So it's breaking down, and the other one is building up. And the top-down is used by structural programming languages such as COBOL, Fortran and C, whereas bottom up it is used in object oriented programming, because the object is taken into consideration first. So languages such as C++ and C, Python use this approach. So the top down, each part is programmed separately, therefore it contains redundancy. So since it is broke down into different constituent programs, so the same code may be repeated in so many places, so that's what called redundancy. The bottom up approach, redundancy is minimized because the entire system of code or question is done in a single way. It's not broken down, but it is built up to a bigger one, so there will be redundancy will be reduced due to encapsulation and data hiding. So decomposition takes place in the top down approach, whereas composition takes place in the bottom up approach, which is revealed in the name itself. So in the top down, the function of system might be hard to identify, whereas in the bottom up, we cannot build a program from the piece we started, because we are integrating several components to a single program. So we cannot build a program from the single component that we have started. So there's that. And it's used in debugging and module documentation, etc. The top down design for programming, whereas bottom up is used for testing the programs and the working of the codes. So this is a pictorial representation of a top down approach and a bottom up approach.